Hey, good people. Welcome back to the BFFx Podcast. You excited?
I am always excited.
That's always going to be my first question to ask you.
I'm eager.
Oh, God.
Eager.
Okay, I like eager.
What's the definition of eager? Let's look it up.
I feel like, let me see if I can try this. I like to try to define words. Eager. Actively looking forward to something with expectation.
Well, according to Google, it says of a person wanting to do or have something very much.
Eager?
That's what it say.
No, I get that.
It's an adjective.
What's the next one though?
Of a person's expression or tone, characterized by keen expectancy or interest.
Yeah. I think that was along the lines of my definition. I like to define words without saying the word.
Okay. You're one of those nerds.
Whatever.
It's okay if you are. I mean,
I absolutely am. I love words. I love the art of communication.
We've noticed.
Hush. What that mean?
You like to talk.
I do like to talk.
You like to talk, child.
Dude, I like to talk a whole lot.
Yes. You have a lot of words.
I do. Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
Like you are very expressive with words.
Okay.
And I've noticed
overly expressive or?
I wouldn't say overly. I would say very. You're a great communicator.
I like that. You should live with that.
Well, I summarize with it. So,
all right.
Talking about today, April?
Yeah, today, I'm excited about this topic. It is called Coached by Culture or Convicted by Christ.
I love that.
Without me giving my thing of what it means, my summary, what does that sound like to you?
Coached by culture, like, okay, are we conforming to the ways of the world? Mm-hmm. Or are we really doing this thing by the Bible, convicted by our Christian walk? Mm-hmm. That's what I hear. Mm-hmm. And it's challenging because, I had a podcast before this one that I did by myself that I didn't finish, that I told you about. Hypocritical Christian. Mm-hmm. And that was ultimately one of the themes of it. Like, do we really do what we say we doing?
Right.
When we say we're a Christian, but do we really not conform to the ways of the world? Mm-hmm. Like, how do we still, there's a thin line,
Yeah.
And so that's what I think about. The hypocritical Christian. Yeah.
That's so funny because we were just talking about something along the lines of this morning, and I was telling Caleb, I don't want to be a hypocrite. Mm-hmm. And so typically, like, there's also a thin line between being a hypocrite and between being like a toxic Christian.
Ooh, okay. Because
I feel like being a toxic Christian is you putting everybody in hell for any and everything, right? Mm-hmm. It's very extreme. And then being a hypocritical Christian is not standing on what the word says and being too, what is this, lukewarm? Mm-hmm. So I feel like trying to find that safe medium where God is actually pleased, that's the thing for me, is like, what does that look like? Help me figure out that space.
And I feel like it's like a developmental thing. Like, over time, he gives us grace to develop to those points, and develop and learn through those points and navigate it. I feel like holiness is still right. I do believe that, but I'm still trying to define what does holiness fully mean, right?
Facts.
So, and so I'm still trying to work through that, but not be hypocritical, because hey, what holiness means to you, he's shown you, may not look like that for me. What convicts you may not convict me because it's not something that I deal with, right? So through your lens, it may be like, dang, Becca putting them down to be a Christian, she drinking a lot. But to me, I'm not drunk. I'm fine. But it's not my conviction.
And that's what I think is the difference. I feel like holiness is holiness. I don't feel like there's a spectrum of holiness. I feel like it's black and white, but I feel like conviction is where the gray area comes in, because conviction is God's gauge of where he has you, where he wants you to be. So like when, like, let's just say even us using the drinking for my gauge of drinking might be I can't have it at all. Right? Your gauge of drinking might be like you can have it and you don't feel convicted. And that's something that you actually bring before God. It's not something that you're hiding from him, but you don't have that same conviction.
Right.
But then I feel like holiness is an unchanging thing. And the reason why I feel that way is because when they say God is holy, it means that he is who he is through and through. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's why I can't see holiness in levels. I see it as it's always the standard.
Right.
And it is that. You know what I'm saying?
So and that's what we're developing into.
Developing into through the process of sanctification. Mm-hmm. So my question is, what does that look like though when someone is developing that? Because I know you said that when they're starting on that journey. I know that you said it is a developmental process. So like, how does one not step over into being the hypocritical Christian or the toxic Christian? Like, how you do that? What does it look like today?
So for me, today, I believe that we are biblically literate. Mm. And I know that for myself, and I know it for the others that and people that can attest to it. We don't know the word of God. Mm-hmm. We know it through the tiny scriptures that we learn as children. And some people are like, I've read the entire Bible. You have, but have you dissected the entire Bible? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I think that's where we start. I think we'll always have those parts in our lives as Christians where we are trying to figure it out. What's the right thing to do here? Mm-hmm. Fighting flesh. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to have that daily battle, right? Mm-hmm. But when we go back into the word of God, and that's something I'm learning to do more, is okay, like scripturally, every day, if it's something I'm challenged with, okay, well, Google, what does the Bible say about this? Mm-hmm. What does it say concerning this? Because I don't want to misrepresent God.
Right.
But I also don't want to be out of alignment. Okay. So
that's good.
For me, I think that's the starting point. Mm-hmm. Yes, holiness is the destination. Starting point is the word of God. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think we can start.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's a good segue into talking about a little more about culture, because I don't like it. I don't like culture. And I feel like I don't like it for the reasons that, for the reasons that I have, which is just simply that I know that I'm trying to walk upright. I know I'm trying to live a certain kind of life. And I feel like culture is so ungodly. It just is. Like when you look at it from the viewpoint of holiness as a standard, it's like, bruh, you really got me out here in the ghetto. Like you really got me out here in the ghetto trying to live right. Mm-hmm. And so when culture says protect your peace and cut them off, and then Christ says forgive 70 times, where do you fall with that? Where do you land with that? Is it like straight out obedience and then you deal with everything else in your prayer closet in your own time with your friends or whatever? Like, how do you walk that out? What does that look like for you? And not even just that example, but even like soft life versus sacred life, where's the tension and where's the truth? And I want to dive into that a little bit more because I want to understand what that means. But when you see some of those comparative things where it's like, okay, this or that, like, how do you navigate that?
That's a great question. I believe I'm learning how to navigate that. Mm-hmm. I've never been a part of the cut-off culture, right? Mm-hmm. I told you, I'm like, I can't cut you off. Yeah. Like, I can handle you differently, but I can't cut you off. Mm-hmm. Never been a part of the cut-off culture, so that's just not how I operate as an individual. The challenge in that is the forgiveness piece that you mentioned, that God, talks about. I'm learning, because this is something I'm actively walking through right now, is like forgiveness is something that you have to do, but you can't do it. And some people will disagree with me. That's fine. But I don't think I can forgive you and not fully release the offense without having a conversation with you. So that being said, that's where I am. I'm like, I have to articulate that I've been offended in order for me to release an offense and fully forgive. And that way it gives you an opportunity to respond. But I do it in love.
Yeah. I totally get that.
But that cutoff is
hard.
I'm cutting you off. You don't know that you offended me.
Right.
You may know, or I create this mind movie that you know that you offended me. But truly, you don't know.
Yeah. I like that because I don't really hear a lot of people share that same, especially culture-wise, share that same thing. And one of my biggest struggles is that it is just that. It's like navigating in a world where y'all just gonna have to deal with these frumpy pants, because I've been trying to get it right for y'all, but if it look weird, it just gonna have to look weird. Okay?
It look good.
But I've been trying to navigate the space of dealing with people who don't share that same standard of holiness.
And that's good. I think that one of the things that I hear Tony say oftentimes to myself as well as Garen is they may not have that standard, but you be the standard.
Right. But that's not always fun. Like, I know I can understand that, and I embrace that, and I follow through with that. And not even just the standard of holiness, but like pleasing God, right? If we just want to put it in simpler terms, because some people might be looking like, what exactly does holiness look like? But like pleasing God. So the framework that I have created to kind of give myself something to go by is like, number one, is it pleasing to God? Number two, is it honoring myself? Am I honoring myself? And number three, am I handling other people or the other person responsibly? And if I can check off those boxes, those three boxes, it can't necessarily just be one or the other unless it's just I please God. If it falls on that, then it's okay if the other two aren't checked. But typically I try to check them all. And I feel like if I'm
checking
checking God, I'm probably pleasing myself too. And handling responsible. Because you can't do one without the other.
But it's a great assessment.
Yeah. And so when I do that, that's what helps me to release the feeling that I might have around it, because it still might not feel good if I'm doing all those things and then this person, they don't go by that same framework. And then I feel offended by that because I'm human, right? So, or not even just because I'm human, because every human may not feel that same way about the same thing, but because I feel that some kind of way. So what were you going to say?
I believe feelings are fleeting, because I don't think that it felt good for Jesus to die on the cross for us. And for all the brutality that he experienced on behalf of our sins, I don't think it felt good. So if we're trying to die to ourselves and please God at the same time, I think that for me, it's not going to always feel good. And I'll be honest, a lot of the times when I have to sit and smile and listen to other people, it don't feel good because I feel the anxiety, I feel rage, I feel a bunch of different things. But going back to what you just said, is it pleasing God? Because I'm trying to get to an ultimate resolve so that we can go against what culture is saying and really lean into leading with fellowship and love and all those things. Because that's ultimately the biggest, I think, challenge it is for us. Is to love thy neighbor as you would love yourself. So loving you means I have to forgive you when you fall short. Just like I would, like you just said, am I pleasing myself? Well, you got to love your neighbor just like that too. That's what the word says. That's a challenge. And we fall short in it. But I think that, again, as we develop in this thing, I feel like I feel like I'm still a baby in Christ. I'm still learning. Same. I've been in church.
Same. Yeah. I feel like
the relationship.
I feel like all that is true. The part that I still am looking for, not like a finite, landing place, but I still feel a little bit like, okay, I hear you. I understand that all those things. Okay, but what exactly do you do? So like you have a bad situation, a tough situation, and you handled it in a way that pleases God, honors yourself, and you handle the other person responsibly. you're in a position now where although all those 3 boxes were checked, you still have unresolved emotion. You're still inflamed. You still are like having these thoughts and feelings about, and it's going on over a period of time. And so when it comes to that, what culture says is not necessarily wrong. It may be to get therapy. It may be to take some time to do some self-care and all those other kinds of things. But where it starts to, it's weighing out when to tap into some of the things that culture says that actually works, even though it may not be biblical. You know what I'm saying? And so how do you gauge how much a culture is appropriate when you're living a life of holiness? You know what I mean? Because that is where, switching gears just a little bit before we get to the next topic, when it comes to another common frustration of like being a married woman and a wife, right? And then you have women who are experiencing singledom, and maybe they've gone through divorce, or they just are enjoying their singledom. And then it's like, it looks like freedom. It looks like being the ability to be creative and expressive and owning your identity. Whereas if it's side by side by marriage, at times, at least for me, you don't see that as much. Like I've had a hard time creating that within the parameter of marriage at times, not all the time. And so it's like when you have those two things kind of like competing with each other, where do you find your stance? Or how do you find your stance on that?
I think at the end of the day, my question, how I would find my stance is, okay, well, what does Tony say? How does he feel about this? Mm-hmm. And then I pray. Mm-hmm. Honestly, in that order. And yes, I know most people say pray first and then ask Tony. No, most of the time, what I do first is ask my husband, how do you feel? And then I'll go pray about it. Because I want to make sure I'm clear on it. Mm-hmm. So that I'm not, because I'm around a lot of single women. Mm-hmm. And so is my husband. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I have to be prayerful in that and set boundaries, because I know one of the things I have recently, a conversation with a group of friends, and they were like, yeah, this summer we're going to be outside. We're going to do this. 2 of them are going through separations and divorces. Another one is single, never married. And in that setting, I was the only married woman. And I said, yeah, I don't really have a desire to be outside like that. And they were like, yeah, because you have everything right here. We don't have that. And I was like, I do. But even before I had everything right here, it just was not, I won't try to be outside like that. And so I think your original question was,
how do you find your stance?
How do I find my stance?
When you have those competing.
Yeah. I think ultimately it's what I feel led to do, because I'm not going to be outside like that. Like I'm not going to be at all the concerts. I'm not going to be at all the events, the trail rides and stuff like that, because I ain't looking for nothing. You know what I mean? And I don't have a strong desire to do that. I'm very prudish too.
Okay.
So in scenarios like that, I just got to lean into my desire. What do I want to do? And then go back and fact check it again with my husband. How you feel about this? He'd be like, no, you had to hear about it. I know what that means. I ain't going.
Even that though, I'm pretty sure when some women hear that, like going to your husband first, it's a cringe moment. Like, going to who? Even married women, that could be a cringe moment for them too, because just honestly coming one with the fact of like, what does interdependency look like in marriage, to the point where you still have your own identity, but there's a mutual respect for each other's positions in your life and influence on your life and your decisions. And I feel like I still am trying to do a better job of representing what that looks like, understanding what it looks like for me, and then also articulating that, because that is a stuck point. for many people.
That's good.
It's like, okay, God, I want to live for you and everything, but I'm gonna be real. Like, I want to go to the trail rides, and no, I'm not really looking for anything, but I want to be out there. I want to be having a good time. Like, is it, you know what I'm saying? Or I want to get tattoos and piercings. I want to go to a concert that's not a hip hop rap concert. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we showing those people? What are we telling those people? And if we are those people, in some cases I am, how are we navigating the tough decisions of that? And for me right now, it is, it's having conversations with my husband, but it's not always just saying, well, what do you think? And then just going by what he thinks. It's like having that open forum conversation so that I can consider his thoughts, because maybe he sees it a different way that can bring clarity and conviction, you know what I mean, to me in a way. But then also, I am spending a lot of time like understanding God's character, like truthfully trying to seek his face. Because as I understand his character more, than I understand, you know, what he would do in certain scenarios or have me do. Right. And then I can apply that to it. But yeah, it's really, I feel like that conversation can really go on for days, because especially as we are youthful, and still trying to, like, you know, enjoy life. How do we enjoy life and please God at the same time? Be honest about our desires and allow him to reshape us and mold us, but not in a way where we feel like we're always the one that's stuck on the porch on punishment and we're watching everybody else just outside live life. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we coexist with people who are outside for their reasons, but we're outside for the reason of living a godly life? But I do feel also that God wouldn't have put us here on the earth had he not wanted us to enjoy, you know, the fruits of our seeds. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I still feel like he's given us certain things where we are able to experience pleasure in ways that no other creature can. So I feel like he wanted us to have a certain level of enjoyment. So what does that look like for you? But also, what does that look like in a godly way? The last thing I'll say is, Caleb was saying, I was talking to him and I was like, you know, you almost have to have a, what did I say, Caleb? Unworldly. Oh, golly. It was really good.
Outer worldly?
I don't know. I think it was an unworldly viewpoint of life. You have to, like, when you start to compare, I think that, and I know this is what this whole conversation's been about, but when you compare and you put them against each other, I feel like in some instances that right there is the wrong answer, to try to compare two things that were never meant to give you the same. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
So it's like, soon as you compare it, almost like if you're vegan and you're looking for like the same thing that you would get out of homemade mac and cheese that got that nice little pull to it from vegan cheese, you're going to set yourself up to be disappointed, because at the end of the day, it's not made to be that. It's made to be an alternative to that. And so you have to be willing to just accept that this is what it is and that is what it is. You're not going to get that from this. It is a replacement.
And I do believe that through prayer and setting aside and the sanctification process, that he will also change your desires too.
And your taste for it. Yeah, absolutely.
And your taste for it, because it's still going to be what it is. And so if I keep practicing this thing and I may start developing a taste for, and an acquired taste for vegan cheese. You know what I mean?
Not vegan cheese. Not a cringe. Or a replacement, not an alternative. Because the reason why I say it like that, when you think of something as a replacement, you're replacing it altogether. When I think of alternative, it's optional. Like, it's an alternative, but you get to choose. But when you're replacing it, that's no longer an option.
That's good. So would that be an alternative or a replacement? Would following Christ be an alternative?
It's an absolute replacement. Everything about it is like, you know, and I think that's where I am in my walk of like, it can seem like a black and white thing where it's just like, okay, I'm living for Christ now and all this, but that's where I feel like you can easily fall into toxic Christianity by doing things that way. But you have to like make the decision and there be no alternatives. And then as you come face to face with things where you would have typically gone right, you have to decide now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to apply that framework.
And I think it's a developmental process too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too, right?
Absolutely.
So I don't think that, like today, I may feel like, okay, it's okay for me to drink a little bit, have 2 drinks. You know, I should be fine because I'm not overindulging in anything. I'm not drunk. I'm not impaired or anything like that. Today I may feel that, but over time, as I go deep in the word, the Lord may convict me to the point where he's like, no, I need you to put that down for me. But I believe that in certain instances, he'll use that, put that down for me as his way of drawing other people closer.
Yeah.
So when they see I've put it down, then they'll be like, oh, we might need to put that down too. You know what I'm saying? Because earlier, you know, you mentioned something about culture. You're going to be in the forefront of culture, right? Being in the forefront of Christian culture or being in the forefront of mom culture, whatever culture we're in, people are going to look to us for what is the standard. And God is going to use that platform to be able to have him to be glorified in whatever way he deems necessary. And in some ways, it may not feel good to us, but as long as it pleases him, we should be willing to do it. And I think that that is ultimately where this process and this development that we're going through right now is going to lead us and take us. We won't have all, like right now, we won't have all the answers right now, but he'll give it to us in part. And we'll be able to take that and develop into these dynamic women of God. I'm just thinking like, okay, what are the next 20 years like? When I'm turned 54.
Oh, Jesus.
Lord, where you going to have me?
Where we going to be? Hopefully somewhere chilling.
But no, I don't think so. I believe we'll have moments of chill, but I believe we'll be able to look back at these moments and be like, the Lord have brought me a mighty long way. You know?
Yeah, I can't wait. We have my little, I don't know, it's something about the Southern charm that I'm like drinking my little sweet tea and having all the little, you know, trinkets and stuff of the Southern lifestyle. I love it.
No, that's not what I was thinking.
That sounds like peace on a green little
the Southern lifestyle. Yeah, because I know where you want to be at. You want to be somewhere far.
Somewhere far. But yes, I agree. I agree with what you said. I think that the other piece, I heard a couple of different things. Putting yourself around other people who are on that same journey, because it's so empowering to see like women get it. They get what you're going through, because it can be easy to get on social media and you just feel like, well, where is my people? Because, you know, like everybody's saying this and it's so much noise and so many competing frames of thought, and just like, that it just is overwhelming.
Who values what I value?
Right. Anybody saying what I'm saying, anybody agree to what I got going on. And so finding your people, it can help to turn the volume up on your beliefs and your values, and which ultimately, like you said, the standard is holiness. The life is godly and to please God. And so that goes back into when you said just us being on our own journey, being in the right now, and not yet arriving in some places, but constantly pursuing the ultimate pursuit. I definitely feel like, yes, come on, Felicia, the exchange movement.
Doctor.
Yes. But that in itself is everything I feel like that the podcast is about. Really showcasing that journey and showcasing the fact that there is no one way to do it. In terms of your own personal journey, it might look a little different, but the standard of success is sanctification. It is holiness. It is godliness as far as our walk and what we are sharing with our people.
Yeah, ultimately
Christian women. So
that's the formula to our success. It's to walk this thing out with the Lord.
Walk it out with them.
Walk it out with them. See, there you go with the culture again.
The bounce. I like a little bounce.
We're talking about the Lord, and you're gonna start bouncing.
Oh, and to the walk it out, yeah.
He
know me.
I'm not judging.
Me and him is cool.
I'm just being funny.
Okay, that was good. So, any final thoughts?
I am really looking forward to doing this journey with you, though. Like I said the other day, I was praying. I was like, Lord, I see what he's developing now is peers in this walk, mentors in this walk, and mentees in this walk. And so as he develops it, having you as someone I can confide in and journey through this with, I'm grateful.
I'm grateful too. I really am grateful too, because it's a journey, right? And so we know journeys are full of what they're full of, just all kinds of things. So
obstacles, trials, tribulations.
Yeah, just to be able to share that with someone in a safe space. In a safe space. So yeah. Yes. Well, good people, we are so glad to have had spent this time with y'all, honestly. And we want to hear what y'all got to say about culture and how it is maybe an influence to you all and what you are doing to like overcome those influences and continue to stay 10 toes down for Big G up there. What does that look like for you, and what are the things that are challenging you the most that we could even potentially talk about on the podcast? Or you can just share your experiences so other ladies could also draw from that and maybe win from it. Yeah, so we thank y'all for spending time with us today. If you haven't seen episode 1, go back and see that real quick, get caught up. And we'll see y'all episode 3. Bye, good people.